Minutes after 6 o'clock. If this was our personal plumbing system, we'd be on the phone all morning trying to find a plumber. Something we may want to do as taxpayers after hearing this story. A new report calculates that leaky and broken municipal pipes across this province are leaking enough drinking water to fill 130,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And the cost in wasted water, energy, and environmental damage could be close to $1 billion. Tamir El-Dirabi is the lead author of a new report released by the Residential and Civil Construction Alliance of Ontario. He's on the line now to walk us through some of these numbers. Good morning.
Good morning.
Take us through the figures for the GTA. How much water are we wasting in Toronto?
We are wasting a lot of water. The issue relates more to our inability to calculate that because we are not keeping good track of the numbers. The city is claiming a 7% leakage rate, which is astonishing and wonderful if it's true. Our estimates and our kind of evaluation would put the average leakage rate across the whole province at around 20 to 25%. In some municipalities, it's up to 50%.
So 25% of the drinking water in this province is actually leaking before it gets to the tap.
Yes.
That's astonishing.
That's astonishing, and the good news is that there has been a lot of awareness on the engineers' side in all municipalities about that, and they are doing a good job in catching up. However, the current policy and the current culture of just build and the short-term decision-making cycle is not helping. We have a lot to catch up. So the issue that we are concerned about is the lack of existence or the lack of a long-term sustained policy to take care of these systems, because most of these systems were built at least 50 years ago. Some of the systems in Ontario are 100 years old.
What do they look like? Because again, as I said, we don't often think about the pipes beneath the surface until those pipes actually need to have a good look at. So what do those pipes actually look like?
Some of them are in a very horrible shape. You can tell by knowing that some pipes in Toronto are still made of wood, which is about 100 years old. Yesterday we were in a site in downtown Toronto where a replacement work is being constructed, and the field superintendent told us that some of the iron steel pipes are so badly damaged to the extent that they are being held together by the mud. Once you remove the mud from them, they burst.
It's also the cost of pumping water through our system that is really adding up, isn't it?
Yes. Think of it this way. If you need 1 million cubic meter to service the people in a certain city, you are actually pumping 1.25 million. And so we estimated that given the current energy prices, that this 250,000 or 0.25% to 25% of the water that's just being pumped to the earth costs us on average in Ontario $1.5 million for energy only. We are not calculating the cost of the water itself. For example, in Toronto, the rate is about $2 a meter. We are not calculating the cost of the water or the cost of the extra labor that you need at the pumping station to pump more, or the cost of the greenhouse gas emissions that comes with all of that. So eventually, in our estimates, and I have to emphasize again that these estimates are based on our best evaluation of the leakage rate, given that not all the municipalities keep good numbers in this regard. It's about $18 million of energy wasted. Again, I emphasize it's not the cost of energy. It's the energy that is associated with wasted water that is overpumped in the system because it's leaking.
If you're a homeowner, you know that the longer you wait to do a maintenance job, the more damage is going to be caused. So you can pay now or you can really pay down the road. And homeowners know that you have to deal with the problem quickly to avoid getting taken to the cleaners later on.
Yes.
Why as a society, I mean, we put these off because we have other priorities, I suppose. How do you get society to understand that sort of homeowner sense of urgency and that homeowner sense of personal responsibility and make these repairs part of that long-term plan?
This is a wonderful question, and I can talk about three levels of action here. The first, at the engineers, the engineers in municipalities and in firms that are taking care of this. For the last 10 years or so, even more than that, they have become aware of the dire situation in our infrastructure, whether it's our roads or our electrical grid or the water and sewer system.
But are the politicians aware of it?
That's the second level. The politicians are becoming aware, but the issue relates to two things in the politics or the policy making in this regard. The first is the short-term cycle of it. Politics and politicians have a very short-term horizon in their thinking that does not go more than, in my view, about 40 years in the thinking, which makes the decisions sporadic and not sustainable, including some of what we are seeing right now in terms of the stimulus package and stuff like that. They are focusing on repair, they are focusing on rehabilitation, but there is no guarantee that this will continue, even though that our infrastructure is getting more and more older. The second, which is more important, is the governance structure of our municipalities. We have to hold our municipalities and our municipal leaders accountable for these. These are defined right now as assets, something valuable that we own. And if you have a house that you own and you have like 10 kids running around in this house, and for 50 years you do nothing to this house, at the end of 50 years, this house is either worth nothing or will cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
It used to be an asset, but now it could be a liability to you. And as long as you do not have a system, a governance system that holds somebody accountable for these, first of all, they need to collect data. The data collection mechanisms are available and are known, but we do not have accurate data. Second, they need to have resources for that. Some municipalities, especially smaller municipalities in northern Ontario, there is nobody to take care of the system. Third, they need to have sustained budgets to do the job. And finally, the third category in between engineers, politicians, the third category is the communities. That the community should know that these are our money going down the drain.
Well,
it's our assets that we need to maintain.
I think the numbers that you presented this morning will certainly get, if not the politicians' attention, then certainly the community's attention. Tamer, good to talk to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tamer El-Dirabi teaches civil engineering at the University of Toronto, the lead author of a new report released by the Residential and Civil Construction Alliance of Ontario, looking at aging municipal pipes across this province. Again, the headline there, we waste essentially enough drinking water before it gets to the tap, not with just dripping from your tap, before it gets to the tap to fill 130,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Any thoughts? Call the Box 416-205-5807. Who should take responsibility for that? Perhaps you have some suggestions. 24 minutes after.